Hello guys, I am back with something a little bit different today. If you usually watch my studio vlogs, I will be doing a separate update video on my shop and what's going on with that. But for now, this video is a charity shop book haul. You may have noticed I am standing in front of a bunch of empty bookcases, and that is because me and my partner have recently fallen down the rabbit hole of booktube, bookstagram, book talk and we have been reading like crazy, and we have been going into charity shops looking for books that we want to read, and we've collected quite a few over the last couple of months. So we've bought some bookshelves which I need to fill. But right now I am going to show you some of the books that we found during our first week of charity shopping. So we had some time off. We didn't just stick to where we live, we went to many different towns and went around all the charity shops, and this is what we managed to pick up. So first up, this is a set of 5 books. I believe it's a complete series. I got this for £4.99 in a charity shop, and the reason I picked it up is because it's based in Yorkshire, which is where I am from. I can't see the description on here because I think I looked it up on Goodreads while I was in the shop, but it was basically something along the lines of some town in Yorkshire and there's some weird stuff going down, and that was enough for me. I was like, yeah, that sounds interesting, I'll pick that up. Next up, I managed to find 2 of the Disney Twisted Tales books. So these are retellings of Disney stories, and it's kind of like what would happen if things went differently. So they're supposed to be a bit darker. I think these are aimed at teenagers, young adult, but I like Disney. And I think I got these for like probably 50p, I think. And to be honest, they don't even look like they've been read. So the first one is Mirror Mirror, and it's based on Snow White, and it says, what if the evil queen poisoned the prince? And the next one is Once Upon a Dream, Twisted Tale, what if the Sleeping Beauty never woke up? So those will hopefully be nice, easy reads because they have quite big print. Next up, I have a couple of romance books. These are just ones that I picked up because I liked the sound of them when I read the back. First one is Step Back in Time, and this is by Ali McNamara. This was 50p, and this is about a girl who gets hit by a car on a zebra crossing and wakes up in 1963. But basically she ends up jumping through time, and I'm hoping is going to find someone that she wants to be with based on the front cover. So I'm excited to read that. And the next one is You Against Me. And this one says, if someone hurts your sister, you seek revenge, right? When Mikey's sister claims a boy assaulted her, his world begins to fall apart. If your brother's accused of a terrible crime, you defend him, don't you? When Ellie's brother is charged with the offence, her world starts to unravel. When Mikey and Ellie meet, 2 worlds collide. The next book I managed to find is a book that is popular on Book Talk. It is Daisy Jones and the Six. Initially, I wasn't interested in this book just because it's written in an interview format, and I'm not sure how well I will get on with that, but I have heard that it's a very easy read, and I found the hardback for, I believe it was £1, so I thought, £1, I'll try it, see if I like it, see what all the fuss is about. We have some fantasy books. These are ones that Andy picked up. I may pick them up at some point, but they're not like top of my list. So these are Terry Brooks, and it is the Legendary Shannara series, and he managed to pick up the prequel. Sorry, this is the prequel. This is the first book, which is a different cover, and then book 2. I think these were all 50p. Another book that I picked up that I've heard good things about is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This was 99p, and I just like the sound of this book. This book is about a girl who is transported into a library, and she's given the chance to undo any regrets that she has and try out each of the other lives that she might have lived. I've heard good things. I like the premise. And I think this was quite a new release, and 99p, can't go wrong. Next up, these were on my list of books I wanted to read, and I was so excited when I found these. I found these in a charity shop very close to home, and what happened is I found book 1, World After by Susan E., and book 3 of a trilogy. Book 2 was not there. I went back to the same charity shop about a week later because I was like, what are the chances they're going to have book 1 and 3 and not book 2? I found book 2. So I don't know a whole lot about these books, but it says on the first book, it has been 6 weeks since the angels returned to Earth and destroyed the world as we know it. When they fly away with a helpless little girl, her sister Penryn will do anything to get her back. That's what the first book's about. The other two follow on from it. Another lucky find for me was I found book 1 in the Amulet of Samarkand, which is the Bartimaeus trilogy by Jonathan Stroud. So this is about a young apprentice magician who has to steal an amulet, and it is set in modern day London, controlled by magicians. I only found book 1. I then went to a different charity shop in a different town, and I found book 2 and book 3, which is a complete trilogy. So I am very happy about that. Next up, I managed to find 2 books that completed series that I had every other book of except for the last book. One of the series, this cost me £2, but it was worth it because it completes a series I already have, is the Shiver and Linger series by Maggie Stiefvater. The next one I managed to pick up was Finale by Becca Fitzpatrick, and this is the final book in the Hush Hush series. I also managed to pick up some more Maggie Stiefvater. I got Lament, which is the first book in another series that she's done, which is about fairies, I believe. And I also picked up the Scorpio Races, just because, again, another book that I've seen people talk about quite a lot, and people seem to love it, so I definitely want to try this. Another book I picked up and have already read, but I did not bring it up here for the haul, was Into the Woods. I think it's called Into the Woods, by Ruth Ware, and that was about a girl who used to be best friends with someone in high school, and she hasn't spoken for 10 years, and then she gets invited to their hen do, and it's at this glass house in the middle of the woods, and I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's a thriller. And so I decided to pick up another Ruth Ware book, which was The Turn of the Key. Again, I believe it's another thriller, and I don't even need to know anything about it. I just want to try another book from this author. I think I removed the prices from these books, but I'm pretty sure they all ranged from 50p to £1. Some books might have even been on free for £1, but I cannot remember. The next books I picked up are fancy, and they are the His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. This was another lucky find where I managed to find one of the books and then found the other 2 books in another shop. So they're all the matching covers, and I'm very happy with those and look forward to reading them. Another book that I have heard a lot of good things about is The Binding by Bridget Collins. I'm pretty sure this one cost me £1.50. This book is based in a world where if you have a secret that you want to hide or a memory that you want to forget, you can go and have it bound into a book. So the memory is in the book, and I think it's removed from your mind. This book is about a binder's apprentice that one day finds a book that has his name on it, meaning there is something in this book that he wanted to forget or did not want people to know. I love the idea of this. It sounds really interesting. I hope it's a good one. Next up, I got 2 more romances. The first one is The Flat Share. Again, I have seen this around online. This cost me £1.50, and it is about a girl that ends up sharing a flat with a boy. He's at home while she works during the day. She's at home while he works nights. And so it's a bit of an odd situation. I hope they meet. I don't really know much about this. The other book I picked up was The Night We Met, and it's got gold foil on the cover, which is why I was drawn to it. This is just one where I picked it up in the shop, read the back of it, and I like the sound of it. This cost me £1.50, and it says, as a man holds his wife's fragile hand, he counts a journey like no other. Daniel and Olivia are destined to be together. At least Daniel thinks this the night he sees Olivia across a sea of people. As he backpacks for Australia, Daniel and Olivia continue to cross paths, yet never speak, until one night Olivia joins Daniel for a drink and everything changes. So this is one that starts as a holiday romance. It sounds like he then ends up back in London, back in his usual routine, and all he has is a name of this girl. He doesn't have any contact details, and I think he's going to try and find her. Next up, I have some thrillers that I managed to pick up. I believe these range from 50p to 90p. The first one is called Hold Your Tongue, and I'll just read you the highlights on the back of this. A brutal murder, a detective with everything to prove, and a serial killer with nothing to lose. Next I picked up 13. The serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. That is it. I read the front cover of this and I picked this book up. A serial killer on the jury at what is meant to be his trial. Clearly they have the wrong person. I cannot wait to read this. Next I picked up The Other People by C.J. Tudor. There's a couple more books I've seen by this author that I want to pick up. They just sound really interesting, but they all seem to be about child abduction. So let me just read you something from the back of this book. Driving home one night, Gabe sees the face of a little girl he knows in the rear window of the car in front. She mouths one word, Daddy. He never sees his 5-year-old daughter Izzy again. The police believe she's dead, but 3 years later, Gabe still drives the road searching for the car that took Izzy, never giving up hope. It then mentions Fran and her daughter Alice aren't searching but running, always one step ahead of the people who want to hurt them, because Fran knows the truth about Gabe's daughter, and she knows what those chasing her and Alice will do if they ever catch them. So this is about a guy whose daughter has been taken, and he's seen her being taken on his way home, and someone else knows what happened. I don't know about you, but this sounds like it's gonna be good. Next up, we've got a few oddballs. Another romance, which is called The Start of Us. This was 50p. Daniel and Erica, from the moment they meet, their worlds are changed forever. Erica has the ability to slip between worlds and observe a life she's never lived, made up of all the paths she didn't take. So Daniel knows that Erica has this gift, and Erica uses this gift and finds a route of life that would give them a better life by the sounds of it. And so they're going to try and redo their life, but going back is risky in case something goes wrong. Butterfly effect? Yes. Another book set in a fantasy world. I'm not sure if this is part of a series or not. I will have to look it up. Snow Like Ashes. It says a lightning fast tale of loyalty, love, and finding one's destiny. So these two are like nothing like any of the other ones. This one is Michael and Jack Whitehall, Him and Me. If you haven't seen the Travels with My Father series, I think it's on Netflix. It's basically Jack Whitehall, who's a comedian. He manages to get his elderly father to travel the world with him, and it's just funny. I saw this book and it says Him and Me is the story of a father and son, a generation gap, and two people making it up as they go along. And I enjoy the series so much, I just thought it would be nice to read this book. The next book, I was like, I didn't know whether I wanted to buy this book. My partner also decided he wanted to read it, so we did end up getting it, but I was torn about handing over money for this book. But at least the money went to charity. This is Avery by Ken Kratz. If you've seen Making a Murderer, you will know who this is, and you will know what this book is about, which is the case of Stephen Avery. Ken Kratz and a lot of other people refused to take part in the documentary of Making a Murderer. So I wanted to read this book to see his version of events and see if it changes my mind about anything. I think Andy's going to read it first, and if it's a load of tosh, I'm not going to bother reading it and he can just tell me about it. Next up we have some more fantasy. I picked up The Once and Future Queen by Clara O'Connor. In a world where the Roman Empire never fell, two star-crossed lovers fight to ignite the spark of rebellion. That may be part of a series. Again, I need to look that up and check. Both of us want to read the Wheel of Time books by Robert Jordan, which is a fantasy series that was finished off by Brandon Sanderson after Robert Jordan died. So we picked up book 1, which is Eye of the World. And we also managed to find book 2, which is The Great Hunt. So there are 14 books in this series. It's gonna take us a while to find them all, but I feel like we can do it. Another one of Andy's books that he picked up is The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Tales. which I believe is just a collection of short stories. And then we also picked up The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch, which again is a series. I think it might be fantasy, but I'm not 100% sure. We're almost there. We have 10 books left to go. Another series I wanted to read was a series by Nalini Singh. I managed to pick up these two, and then I managed to pick up this one at a later date in another charity shop. None of these are the first in the series. There are quite a lot in this series. I think I have book 7 or 8 and then book 3 and 4. I think I need 1 and 2 and all the stuff in between and all the stuff afterwards. So again, another one that might take me a while to find and collect, but hopefully they're out there somewhere waiting for me to pick them up. Next up, I found Fallen, which is the first in a series by Lauren Kate, and I also found Torment, which I believe is book 2 in this series. So I am going to try and collect the whole of this series as well. The last books I have are not from the charity shop, they are from The Works. And The Works had a deal, 3 for £5, and there is a series called The Daughter of Smoke and Bone, this book, and we went into 4 or 5 different The Works stores, and every time we went in, they had 2 out of the 3 books in the series. You are not telling me that is not deliberate. So we had to buy, on the 3 for £5, 2 books from the series and then a random book, and then we had to go find the one book in a different workshop and buy that separately, which was really annoying. I could have ordered them online, but then I'd had to pay postage, so it's like pay postage or get another book. So I got another book. So I got The Pact, which is about a couple of neighbours that are having a drink of wine one night and talking about their husbands, and I believe one of the neighbours makes a joke about them killing each other's husbands to get rid of them, kind of thing. She says it as a joke. I don't think the other neighbour takes it as a joke. And then obviously The Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor, which again I believe is a fantasy series, and I'm very happy I managed to get these for £5. So that is all the books in my first charity shop book haul. I have bought more books since. There will be another one of these videos coming, and hopefully there will be some books on the shelves by the time we film the second video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, I will be doing more book-based videos on this channel, and I may also every so often have the studio vlogs as well, but at the moment I'm not really feeling the studio vlogs, but I don't mind doing a little update every now and again on how the shop's doing. So that's all for now, guys. I will see you next time.